The SMSF sector is regularly impacted by legislative and regulatory changes, requiring trustees and practitioners alike to stay informed and adaptable to the evolving landscape. Joining me today is Andrew Yee to share his insights on some of these developments. He is the Director of Superannuation at HLB Mann Judd in Sydney. Andrew has been with the firm since 2001 and leads the self-managed superannuation team in Sydney, frequently advising high net wealth clients. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
Good, thank you. Andrew, the Division 296 tax bill is currently in the Senate after passing through the lower house without amendments. Are there concerns amongst some of your clients regarding the potential implementation of this new tax? And if so, what steps are they considering in response to its possible enactment?
Yeah, it's a lot of concerns at the moment. Our clients, especially those with members with higher than $3 million, there's a lot of concern out there. But our attitude with clients on Division 296 has always been, wait till the law has passed and don't panic. Don't take any actions now based on legislations that not law, as it may be amended or adjusted before it becomes law. So obviously, it's a case-by-case situation, and there are things that can be done around the proposed tax without being too reactive or proactive. In saying that, this is a significant change that provides opportunities for advisors to get in front of the clients, to do a planning and compliance check of their SMSF, to see what things can be done to improve or simplify the fund, or do things that also help in the events of the Division 296 becoming law. So we see it in these types of situations. The clients are asking us, we see it as exercise, get in front of the clients, look at their SMSF, and see it as tidying up, or see it as a spring clean of the super fund. There are some obvious ways of looking at strategies or steps that can be done, and the most important one that comes to mind is the revaluing assets. So as you know, SMS trustees by law need to report SMSF assets annually at market value. And that means obtaining valuations of all the assets. Now, becomes a little bit more difficult when the SMSF has unlisted assets, or commercial property or collectible assets. And it can be a costly or onerous exercise for trustees to sometimes ignore or defer the exercise of obtaining a valuation of the assets. So some SMS trustees like to stick with the old notion of, they're carrying out the property valuation once every 3 years, but now's the time that really has to come to the front of their mind with the onset of the $3 million Division 296 tax. So it provides an impetus now for SMSF trustees to review their portfolio, identify assets that need to be revalued prior to the introduction of the new tax. And if they do so, they can better plan their affairs prior to the introduction of the new tax. So proper valuation of SMSFs might lead to different outcomes in respect of the new tax. Some asset values may be revised downwards, or they may have the effect of excluding some SMSF members from the new regime, or an increased valuation may have the effect of including a fund member into the $3 million net. So it may spur the member into taking action to try to take steps to either mitigate or avoid the impact of Division 296. They might do that by withdrawing assets from the SMSF, provided they meet a conditional release and eligible to do so.
And just shifting away from Division 296 for a moment and speaking a little bit more generally, what superannuation strategies are currently proving popular with SMSF trustees at the moment?
What we're seeing now in terms of strategies, I mean, this perennial strategy for SMSF members is, how much can I maximize the monies I can contribute to my SMSF, and how much tax I can save by doing so in the accumulation phase. And on the other side, when I retire, how much money can I take out of the fund tax effectively? So in terms of the accumulation side, we're seeing a greater take up of the unused carry forward concessional contributions concession. It's been a bit of a sleeper over the last few years, but now advisors and clients are becoming more aware of the strategy and finding that these unused caps from prior years and starting to take advantage of them. So more so amongst the younger generation of members in the accumulation phase who are now starting to earn higher salaries and wanting to reduce the tax as well as contributing more towards retirement. We're also seeing a lot of downsizer contributions, especially since they lowered the age threshold to age 55. And since there's no work test or age limit, or not restricted by the tables of super balance cap, it's proving a bit more popular out there. And in terms of contributions, non-concessional contributions, the removal of the work test for those over age 67 has now started to get a little bit pick up for those in that age bracket. They're starting to feel, well, I can start to make non-concessional contributions now, even though I'm not working. So that little strategy has been sort of invigorated with the removal of the work test. For business owners within SMSF, we're seeing more transfers of business real property previously owned by business owners in their own name and wanting to have their SMSF own it. So there can be a fair bit of strategy behind getting the property into the fund. It can be by way of in-specie contributions or cash, or both, and also taking advantage of the nominal stamp duty payable in these type of transactions. Or the transaction could be part of the restructure of the whole business, and the transfer would form part of the restructure and perhaps utilizing the small business CGT concessions. So they're probably the main strategy we've seen out there and becoming more popular.
And as you are well aware, high net wealth clients often face complex estate planning needs, which is one of the reasons why SMSFs remain so popular with this group and cohort. What are some of the significant challenges that you see when it comes to SMSF trustees managing their estate affairs?
Yeah, estate planning mixed with SMSF is an extremely complicated area, and accounts and the family lawyers need to work together on the issue. Although quite often the SMS account advisor is probably more knowledgeable in the area of super and death than the family lawyers. So it is an area that's challenging, but it also provides more scope for work for the SMS advisor or accountant. I mean, there are a lot of issues considered. Uh, Things that come to mind are how do we avoid the super death benefits tax on death if when the member dies and they've got substantial assets still in their SMSF, and how that's distributed. And so they want to look at those sort of things, or should monies be taken out now to try to avoid the super death benefits tax? And that becomes a bigger conversation now and more impactful given now the looming introduction of Division 296. Other issues are what sort of vehicle or nomination does the super member provide on death? Do they have binding or non-binding death benefit nominations? You know, which is more appropriate? We've seen a lot of cases now in the courts that generated disputes because the nomination wasn't binding or nomination was defective or invalid. So it's all these complications. The other things, if the fund member is in pension phase, do you have a reversionary pension, auto reversionary pension, or do you have a non-reversionary pension? Now, what works out best? Now, which is more suitable for the member? There's all sorts of issues. Now, can you reduce the taxable component of the eventual death benefit by, say, by undertaking a recontribution strategy. And that's more difficult now with the advent of contribution caps. Now, how do we get the next generation in the fund? There's more scope now where you've got to have up to 6 members in your self-managed super fund. So, and what if there are lumpy assets in the fund like real property? Now, how does that transfer to the next generation? Now, you have to look at those sort of planning issues. So it's a multi-faceted thing, estate planning and SMSFs on death. And yeah, it's a huge challenge. Not for those high wealth, but all those just members in SMSF in general. And with the members becoming older, it's a huge consideration now.
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, Andrew is the Director of Superannuation at HLB Mann Judd in Sydney. Thank you so much for joining me today, Andrew, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Todd.